Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We are going to be talking about Kringle Candle Snowy Bridge. Now, I am going to apologize a little bit up front here. The first part of this week is going to be a little bit heavy on Kringle candle reviews, and it is because the first four fragrances that I want to get reviewed early on this week are all part of this, I think it's called comforting scents or get cozy. There's a 25% off sale going on over at the Kringle website, and all four of the fragrances that kind of fell into my my natural rotation to review this week, meaning that I feel like I've looked at my collection and been like, oh, okay, I'm at a place in that candle's burn where I feel comfortable giving a dedicated review. Those all seem to have fallen just right at the perfect timing. So I did want to get my thoughts out on four fragrances, this one being the first one, Snowy Bridge, because if you are looking at them, if you're seeing that they are part of that sale, I believe the sale is 25% off. It does include these fragrances in 4-wick and 2-wick formats. So we're going to go ahead and start out with Snowy Bridge. Now, this candle that I am reviewing for you is in the 4-wick extra large format. This is 32 ounces of 100% soy wax. This candle is also, I believe, available in a large 2-wick that is 22 ounces of wax. This one typically retails for $45. The 2-wick, the large 2-wick, typically retails for around $31. But like I said, at the time that I'm filming this review, they are 25% off on the Kringle website. So this is not a new fragrance to Kringle. Those of you guys who have been with my channel for a while, you guys know I am a brand ambassador for Kringle Candle. However, I will always let you guys know when I have received a candle in PR. That is not the case with this candle. In fact, this fragrance and the other 4-wick that I am going to be reviewing, both of these I did purchase on my own. And fun fact, you guys, this fragrance was one of the very first candles that I ever purchased from Kringle. This was a candle that was in my very first order way back, I want to say 5-6 years ago when I first placed my order with Kringle. So this is not a new fragrance. It's been around for a long time, but I actually have never reviewed it here on my channel. And so I thought this is the perfect time for me to share my thoughts. So Snowy Bridge, we've got this beautiful label here. I've always loved the label on Snowy Bridge. This is one of my favorite fragrances that I have always loved after the holidays. So let's go ahead and talk about the fragrance notes. They are top notes of Citron, Frosted Fir, Juniper Glitter, mid notes of Midnight Skies, Jasmine, Silver Spruce, base note of Vanilla Crystal, and Patchouli Kiss. This specific candle has a pour date of February 14th, 2025. All right, so if you've caught my candle chat, or if you've just talked, or if you've seen any of the videos where I've talked about this fragrance, like when I got it in a haul, I have mentioned that I have actually had this candle, I believe, twice before. I think the first time I purchased this candle was in a medium 2-wick, which they have now discontinued that format of candle on the Kringle website. I initially had it in a 2-wick, medium size, and then I think I repurchased it in a large 2-wick, and then my latest purchase has been this candle in their 4-wick. Now this 4-wick vessel has been available for a little over a year now. I believe that they launched this size, I want to say it was like late 2024, around the holidays, I believe. So here's the thing with this fragrance, you guys. I have always said that what you are picturing here is what this candle smells like. They did a really good job naming this candle, I think. My nose detects, there's definitely a woody element to this fragrance. The citron note listed in the top note lends a little bit of sweetness to this, but it's not as distinct of a fruity sweetness as, say, the like the orange peel note that you pick up in Cozy Christmas, or even like a little bit of that lemon note that you might pick up in the Frosted Dawn. This is a fragrance that a lot of people, if you've ever heard anybody talk about this scent, this is kind of in that fragrance family as, say, Cozy Christmas, Bath and Body Works Winter, Frosted Dawn. It's got that woody element with a little bit of citrus, but the citrus note in here is not strong at all. And again, to my nose, it is not distinctly orange. It's not distinctly lemon. It is that citron. It's a little bit more and if I could say it this way, it's almost more a little bit more masculine citrus. Now this is not cologne like, it's not anything like that to my nose, but this to me is it. I've mentioned this several times. When I smell this candle, I get the image of like a snow covered like railroad trestle, I don't know, like trestle bridge, like going over a canyon. That's what I smell here. There's a woodiness to it. The woodiness is very resinous and it's sweet. It's not sappy. I wouldn't describe it as being sappy, but there is a sweetness to the wood. It's not piney or astringent. So if you're seeing that silver spruce note in there, I'm a little bit thrown off by like some of these like broader descriptions in the fragrance notes. Juniper glitter, midnight skies, patchouli kiss. I mean, like patchouli, there is the tiniest hint in there. So maybe that's why they call it a patchouli kiss. The patchouli in here would be very much something that would try to lend a little bit of perfuminess to it. But even that, you guys, this is not a patchouli heavy type of fragrance. It is very much deep down there in the base note. Even they say like vanilla crystal. I think it's interesting because I think like by incorporating fragrances or phrases, juniper glitter, midnight skies, vanilla crystal, patchouli kiss, I think what they're trying to say is that there are very, very tiny amounts of juniper, maybe like a nighttime type of vibe with midnight skies. I'm not really sure where they would be going with that. Patchouli, vanilla, very, very small, like minuscule elements to that. This is actually a really beautiful fragrance. Like I said, this is the third time that I've purchased it. I really enjoy it in the winter time. I enjoy this as an after the holidays fragrance. This has always been a good January scent for me because again, I like the woodiness to it, but it's a little bit sweet. Little bit of juniper in there, but it's not as juniper forward as their Reserve Enchanted Winter that was released when was that, like early December. It's not as juniper forward as that, or as tree heavy as say their juniper and laurel. Again, this is just a very, very nice woody type of fragrance. It kind of reminds me of like snow covered wood. That's the best way that I could describe it. Now, there is a little bit of warmth to it as well, which is why I think that this label is really perfect for it. It's not too cold and outdoorsy. There is a little bit of warmth to it as well. Now let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it around here so that way you can see how the wicks are performing for me. Now I want you guys to note, I did talk about this in my candle chat video that went up on Sunday. I did talk about how this candle has a pour date of February 14th, 2025. And there's another 4-wick candle that I will review, that I will have my review up for that one a little bit later today. But that 4-wick was poured in the summer of 2025. I want to say it was like late June. And I had mentioned how I had some dudding out wick issues with my Cozy Christmas 4-wick that had an early July 2025 pour date. I don't know what they were doing with the wicks in the summer. I don't know if they were experimenting on some of the wicks on the 4-wicks, but I think Kringle, you guys need to stick with whatever wicks you were using in early February or like, around when you initially launched the 4-wicks, go back to those wicks because whatever wicks you were using in the middle of the summer, we're all having some wick issues with that. And I'll talk about that when I do that review. But so far, you guys, this one, I'm not having any burn issues whatsoever. The wicks you're seeing right here, this has been consistent for the performance the entire time. No issues at all with the wicks. These are not dudding out. This is what I have always known and come to expect from the 4-wick vessels at Kringle. Now, one of the reasons why I was very curious to pick this candle up in a 4-wick is because historically, no, even though I have loved this fragrance, it has always been very low on terms of strength and throw. And I am going to tell you guys that even in this 4-wick format, I was hoping that it would have a little bit more oomph to it. But even in this 4-wick format, you guys, the maximum strength and throw I have gotten from this has been about like a 5.5, maybe a 6. That's being super, super generous. This fragrance performs best in a hurricane, in a more closed concept, smaller room. So if you have an apartment, and again, it's not a large apartment with low ceilings, and if you can burn it in a hurricane, you're probably going to be okay with the performance. But even then, you guys, this fragrance profile by nature is not a smack you in the face type of fragrance profile. It is more of a soft, kind of a soft, warm, woody type of fragrance. So be aware of that. If you're wanting this candle to be a powerhouse, you are going to be very, very disappointed. I burn this fragrance as a complementary scent to the other one that I'm going to review later on today. I do like it, but I will say that for me personally, you guys, because this one, I'm kind of on the fence because I love this fragrance enough and I love it paired with another candle enough that I could see myself repurchasing it in the 4-wick. However, ideally, I would like to purchase it at least 30% off. I do have an affiliate discount code with Kringle. It is Katie15. It will take 15% off of your full price purchase with them. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. For a candle that's $45, I don't even think 15% is a good enough discount for the fragrance output that I get from this candle. I would say that again, anything more than 30%, then I can justify it. And I also just go into it knowing that this is not a fragrance that I can expect to burn out in the open concept and be an anchor fragrance. This is always going to be a complementary scent to another fragrance, which again, I'm okay with it. But I have found that the best performance I have gotten out of this candle has been this 4-wick. When I have purchased it in the 2 wicks, it's been very, very low, you guys. It's probably been one of my lowest throwing Kringle candles that I've ever had, which is kind of a shame because, again, this is a beautiful fragrance. It's been around for a long time. I don't want them to get rid of this fragrance because it's really good. But just keep in mind, you guys, that if you are planning to purchase this one, it is going to be for a smaller room. And if you're okay with that, then fine, right? But for me personally, you guys, I mean, I think right now, if you want to get it while it's 25% off and you're wanting to burn it in a closed concept, you're going to be happy with it. You're going to feel like you got a decent enough deal on it. But for me personally, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to see maybe if this one goes on sale, maybe 50% off when they're trying to clear out their inventory, because I do want to get it maybe with these wicks. I don't know if that's what's still in their warehouse is what, this February pour. I would imagine that if this were poured midsummer of 2025 when they were using those different wicks that we've been having some issues with, this one would really be in trouble. But so far, you guys, those are my thoughts on this one. I love this fragrance. I really do. I love this fragrance. It's been one that I always want in January, but I want it to be a little bit stronger. But even if it's not, but also like I don't want the fragrance to change either. That's the other thing that makes me nervous. If they go in and try to tweak the formula, then I don't want the fragrance to alter either because I really like the fragrance. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys are familiar with Snowy Bridge. Would you agree with me that this is not a powerhouse fragrance? Yeah, give me your thoughts. Would be really curious to hear it. So anyways, you guys, please hit thumbs up if you found this review helpful. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I will have another 4-wick review up for you guys hopefully later today. And yeah, all right. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.